Hey my dudes, Yelnab93 here for the very first of many character dives I'm planning on making for the channel. Couple of quid pro quos. Yeah, the game is in JP only, so there's a lot of Japanese katakana, and I can't read katakana. So, I do apologize ahead of time for any inconsistencies that may pop up. However, I do use these characters fairly extensively before I go to make a guide on any sort of way characters work, their kits, and anything else that I'm, bringing to you guys in these videos. However, before I delve into the character guide, there's something that you guys need to know that I'll probably need to keep in mind while you're building your units, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a character's potential. For a brief summary, potential in FMA Mobile can be seen as a character's augments. There's stat modifiers to increase things like HP, attack, defense, etc. There's also skill augments the player can unlock for when they reach a certain level with their chosen units. These augments can range anywhere between fairly general to almost mandatory. And as far as I'm aware, you can only select one to take into battle per skill. Unlocking a character's potential is also critical because their level 3 potential gives units the ability to assist same faction members during battles to increase their damage output. As has been shown in FMA Mobile, the units that you pull and use in the field are less like general units that will attack and not do much else, but they're more like actual characters with their own playstyles, abilities, and perks that you should probably consider when you use them for a skirmish. What better way to start things off, though, than with the main character of the game, the Fullmetal Alchemist himself, Edward Elric.
You need to see what happens when you try to bring a human back to life. When you cross into God's territory, or whatever the hell it is.
Mechanical limbs. Your auto-mel. I see. Now I understand you, Elric. You are the Fullmetal. The Fullmetal Alchemist!
Edward Elric, SR, Freedom Faction, Heart Type. In the beginning, Edward and Alphonse are the two units any new players will have at the start of their accounts. Do take note, however, just because they're the starter units doesn't immediately make them bad or not worth building. They both will put in the work for anybody that chooses to build them up. Ed's motto on FMA Mobile is simple but effective. Being the very first unit a new player will obtain, he's got one of the game's simplest kits to learn. His attacks, for the most part, are all close range. You'll need to get him into the fray in order to deal damage. But with proper placement and tactics, Edward is very versatile and a flexible unit that any team can utilize. Also, he boasts a very respectable amount of above-average stats, placing him almost in line with that of an SSR unit in terms of power. Edward also has the added perk of being part of the Freedom Faction, one of the very first factions players will feasibly be able to access with faction bonuses when they reach player level 9. Starting off with his passive, Edward has Burning Will. This passive is, again, simple but effective. It boosts Edward's normal attacks and his skill damage by a small amount, giving him more kick. It further increases the damage his ultimate does, and it increases in potency based on his rank. For his skill 1, Edward uses Weapon Training to call for the spear to deal damage to an enemy unit one square in front of him for 140% physical damage. The catch? The skill pierces 20% of the enemy's physical defense stat, helping him to deal a bit better with the disadvantage if he needs to kill a technique unit. Potential augments. Hot-Blooded Duel. Damage to a target with no other enemy units within one square's range gets boosted by 15%. Furious Step. Weapon Training now hits enemies within one square's distance from the chosen target. Ed's skill 2 is his signature Gasho Surugi, where he'll transmute some stone spikes out of the ground to attack the target one square in front of him, and also attacks the square behind his target for 100% physical damage. If Edward can hit 2 targets in a single skill use, he also batteries his own ultimate gauge by 2 bars, helping him get his ultimate out more often. Potential augments. Complete Construction. Skill damage is increased to 115%. Potential Cycle. Killing the target will reduce the skill's cooldown by 1 turn. Now for Edward's ultimate, Hammer of God. With this attack, Ed can target an enemy 2 squares in front of him to transmute a massive statue that will hit the target for 120% physical damage, and then deal 90% splash damage to any enemy within 1 square of the target. Hammer of God does significantly more damage to the selected target, and after using his ability, he'll be able to get the aforementioned self-buff from his passive to keep the damage coming in. Potential augments. Quick-witted. Ultimate gives a stack of Reason, stacks up to times. Damage dealt is increased by 5% per stack. Angry Verdict. Boosts the crit rate of Hammer of God by 15%, making it more likely to deal crit damage. All in all, Edward may be one of the first units, but in my playtime, I've never really left him out of my party. His versatility, damage output, and effectiveness without relying on a gimmick helps him kind of slot into any kind of situation that you need him for. He is in a very solid spot where players both new and more experienced can have a lot of success using him, and for anybody starting out and in need of a free-to-play frontline DPS, he's a fantastic unit. Alright guys, let me know what you think. This is the first of the character guides that I'm planning on putting up on my channel. Hopefully you guys found it insightful. Trying to keep these videos a little on the shorter side, but if you guys want me to go into more detail, just let me know in the comments. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to go over the character's kit, let you guys know the potencies and stuff like that, and also with the potential augments to let you guys have your own decisions based on who you want to build. Anyway, that'll be the first one from me. Keep a watch on the channel because I'm planning on having more in the future. And I think the next one I'm planning on going over is actually over Edward's brother, Alphonse, the tank of the Freedom class. Or Freedom faction. Yeah, I gotta keep that right in my head. Anyways, if you guys would like to catch me live, you can catch me on twitch.tv/yulnap_93, where I play games like Fullmetal Alchemist Mobile, variety streams, and also panda parties on the weekend. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, and, come say hi, I'd really appreciate it. So, hope to see you then.